Hi everyone, it's Eric from ecommon12.blogspot.com and welcome to my full review of the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact. Now a big thanks must go over to Vodafone for sending me this over to review. You've seen me do various coverage videos of this handset, including an unboxing, a front and rear facing camera test, and also a gaming performance test. Now it's my final video, my full review, and let's kick this review straight off. So let's cover a couple of the specs. Yeah, this has a 4.6 inch screen, it's running at a resolution of 1280 by 720, it's an IPS display, and the pixels per inch is 319. It's also got, around the back, a 20.7 megapixel camera, and what's also got is these really nice front-facing speakers, which makes notifications like that, what you just heard, really quite loud. And it's also running Android version 4.4.4 KitKat, and Android version 5.0 Lollipop should arrive near the start of 2015 for this particular handset. And what's also got is a 2.5 GHz quad-core processor, so the speed with this handset is really consistent and fast. And what we're going to do right now is move straight onto the bad points and then onto the good points. So, what's my number one main bad point of this smartphone? Well, that's that it slides. Now, I don't just mean it slides, like if you put it at the bottom of your lap or something, it'll just slide if you're at an angle. No, I mean, even on the most straightest of surfaces, this phone slides. When I finished doing my unboxing of this, I literally put this on top of my MacBook Pro, which has got a satin sort of like see-through case on it, and literally, even though the case on the MacBook is very flat, this was sliding over it. And not only did it slide over that, also on the settee, if I put it on, say, my lap, flat on my lap, and my leg is straight, you don't see it move, but literally, give it a few seconds, when you least suspect it, it'll be moving very slowly, and you'll be like, is it moving, or is that just my eyes playing tricks on me? I just assumed it was my eyes playing tricks on me, and then it turns out the phone just falls onto the floor. So, if you lay this down anywhere, I would not suggest that you take your eyes off of it, because it is going to drop without you suspecting it. That really is not good. I don't like how it slips all over the place, and for me that is a deal breaker of the hardware. So for me personally, deal breaker already at the start of reviewing this handset. That is one of the main problems I've had with this phone. My second problem is that I think although the speakers, which are very good, we'll get onto the positives about them later, I think they could be a bit louder. So, let's move straight on to the good points. Now, the build quality, even though I'm not keen on how slippery it is still very nice. Yes, it gets fingerprints, yes, it gets attracts dust, but practically every smartphone does that. This one does it a bit more, but it feels so beautiful on the hand. The construction is absolutely exquisite. It really is. I really do love even the buttons on the side. They're very nicely placed, and they are extremely good. The flaps are back. And honestly, I think it's a downgrade from the Xperia Z2. The Z2 was so easy for the flaps to be open, but these, it's gone back to the fact that you need longer nails in order to actually take them off. So they're not as good as the previous Z2 flaps, but it's something you can get used to, and it's functionality you're going to obviously want when you actually buy one of these phones. This is a waterproof smartphone. Another thing I absolutely loved was the 720p screen. Now yes, this is not a 1080p panel, but since the screen is smaller, you still get a really good amount of pixels per inch on the smaller screen, and the text is absolutely crisp, and it's got some additions that Sony have put onto their screen technology to make the screen look all the more better. It's also got great speakers on the front. Now these speakers are much better than many other smartphones you get out there. They're not boom sound quality, but these are still extremely good. Not as good though as HTC speakers. And yeah, I just love the fact that they're so discreet, you can barely notice them, and they sound very good. They do sound a bit muffled when compared to other speakers, but you get used to it and then you just don't really think about it anymore. So the speakers are great. What I also liked was the camera. The 20 megapixel photos on this look really good, really nice and detailed, and you can even zoom in with these photos and they look really quite good as well. Previous Sony cameras, I've said, on the Xperia smartphones, have been good when you looked at the photos from a zoomed out position, but once you actually zoomed in, they started to look very pixelated and they didn't really have much detail. But with the photos on this camera, you can zoom in quite a bit and they look really nice and detailed. So I really love the camera with this in regards to photos. In regards to video, this can capture up to 4K video capture, which is absolutely amazing. And the video, I don't think is that impressive. I think it's good, but it just has too much pixels on it. It just suffers from too much pixelation with the actual video. But the sound, that I thought was great. Even though there's so much background noise, it picked up my voice very well. So I was really impressed with the sound for video recording on the Xperia Z3 Compact. The front-facing camera I thought was really quite decent for video calling, but that's about it. For selfies it can be decent, but for actual video recording this was also more pixelated than the actual rear-facing capture. Another thing I thought was really good was the battery life. Now this has a 2600 mAh battery, it is non-removable, but that is not a problem. As always with these Xperia smartphones, the battery life on this is absolutely great. It's not as good as the battery life I got from the Xperia Z2, but this is still really good in its own right. It's been giving me a good 2 to 3 days of use again. That's on low to medium use. Heavy use I get a day to a day and a half, and sometimes even 2 days. As soon as I charge it, I don't have to worry about the battery for a good 3 days. So that is really good. But if you're using this as your full-time media device, then you're going to get around about 5 to 5.5 hours of battery life. So battery life on this has been really quite good, and I haven't really been disappointed at all in regards to battery. Overall, I've just really enjoyed this handset, and you all know I have problems with these different overlays that you get with these various smartphones, and this one, to tell you the truth, I don't really mind it, although I do prefer stock Android. You can get different launchers to actually give it to you. In fact, you can even get the Google Now launcher, as you can see right here, although it's not letting me go into it because then, set the default launcher, and that will give you the stock Android experience, just like you'd get on the Nexus 5, and when this hits the Lollipop update, that will be able to give you the new animations, that Google Now launcher. So overall, I've really enjoyed using this handset. For gaming, it's also been great. The performance on this has really never let up. It's been so responsive. The skin has not been holding it back. And gaming, as I said, extremely responsive, no problems at all, and overall, this has been a really wonderful handset. Would I go for it? No, I personally would want to go for a handset with a much larger screen, and I'm going to be going for the Nexus 6, which will be coming out very soon, so I'll definitely be giving you guys some coverage videos of that. But yeah, overall, this has been a really nice handset, and I can definitely recommend it if you are the type that wants a smaller screen smartphone. We're getting so many large screens nowadays, like 6-inch smartphones, which is just absolutely insane, and this sort of like just, in a good way, took me back to when we used to have decent sized screens, when they were like big enough but not too big at the same time. My personal sweet spot is 5 inches, so that's why even though this was 4.6 inches, to me it did feel a bit smaller than I'd like. But overall, this has been a really nice handset, and I really have enjoyed it, and I can just highly recommend it. If you've liked what you've seen, then definitely go for it, and it will really not disappoint you. Thanks very much for watching. This has been Eric from ecommon12.blogspot.com. Please thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see all of you next time. Take care.